Naam, turudie taarifa hapo awali ambapo kamati ya bunge ya ulinzi, ujasusi na masuala ya kigeni inawapiga msasa mabalozi wateule kabla ya kuidhinishwa na kutumwa katika mataifa mbalimbali. Wanaohojiwa ni Margaret Nyambura Ndung'u aliyeteuliwa kwenda Ghana, Karanja anayetumwa Brazil, Ababu Namwamba atakayewakilisha Kenya UNEP na Noor Gabow anayetarajiwa kwenda Haiti. Tusikilize yanayojiri.
October 2022 and July 2024. I consider it to have been a very special privilege to serve my country in those capacities. A unique opportunity actually to have bestrode the three arms of government, having had a privilege to serve within the judiciary, within the legislature, and the executive. Honorable Chair, I have had the privilege of receiving a number of honors and awards. In December 2012 rather, His Excellency President Mwai Kibaki awarded me the Order of the Elder of the Golden Heart, first class, which really is the highest civilian honor in our nation. And that honor was really partly in recognition of my contribution to the journey to our new Constitution 2010. I have also had the privilege of receiving other awards, as I have enumerated in the questionnaire, including the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship, which is a fellowship granted by the government of the United States of America through the State Department, the African Inspirational Leadership Award, which is awarded by the Voice Achievers of Netherlands. The Distinguished Young Global Leaders role is a role run by the World Economic Forum, to which I was inducted in 2009 in my second year as a Member of Parliament, and also in recognition of the work I have previously done, especially in the legal profession and in the civil society sector, where I have also done some work. I received the Global Social Justice Award in 2003 by Jubilee Netherlands. So the long and short of it, that is me, Honorable Chair. I am a proud son of my mother Agatha and my late father Peter, and also a proud father of 7 children. Yes.
Brilliant. It's a good one. So I will allow members to ask questions. Honorable Ababu has a capacity to handle more than 3 questions at a time. But I will ask 3 questions, and you respond to the 3. We'll take the next set. Honorable Yusuf, Honorable Martha Wangare, and Honorable Kandia.
Thank you, Chair. I've had the privilege of serving with the nominee in the 10th and 11th parliaments, if I'm not wrong. So I absolutely have no doubt about his competency, but I have 2 or 3 interrelated questions. The first one is the fact that he's been a cabinet secretary. In fact, he's been the chief administrative officer for foreign affairs and a cabinet secretary. So I just wanted to find out his motivation in this particular job, given the fact that this looks more like a demotion, like a climb down. And also in terms of conflict of interest, in the sense that he's been the boss of many of the diplomatic staff in the past. I don't know how his relation would be now that one of your former subordinates would be a director of the department that you would be serving under as an ambassador. So I don't know how you would be, how you'd manage that and how it will affect or assist your job as our ambassador at the United Nations. The second one is that we do have, you're going to be the ambassador in charge of UNEP and UNON. these are two major. But we have a third UN agency. And at the moment, it appears as if we have two missions. We have a mission that is in charge of UNEP and UNON, and we have another mission in charge of UN Habitat in two separate places, separate budgets, separate ambassadors. I just want to ask your opinion as a former head of the ministry, as well as now, if you are selected, approved by this committee, the incoming ambassador, whether you think there is a need, particularly for a poor country like ours, is there a need to maintain two missions in the same place? There isn't a lot of work for two ambassadors, I must say, having worked in the UN system. And then finally, you're an international lawyer. I mean, international affairs is in a bit of a crisis. The world is in a global crisis. And Kenya has been a very strong subscriber to the idea of the rule-based global order. But this idea is under a major threat at the moment, as a serious threat. We can see that the Ukraine-Russia war, disregarding international borders there, of a major power trying to take a little country. We have another major military power, Israel, which has been fighting a war in Gaza, which has attacked its neighbors, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen, with impunity. And lately we have the president of a superpower, an incoming president of a superpower, the United States, that is threatening to seize Greenland, taking over Canada and Panama by force if necessary. Do you think these ideas of kind of a rule-based system is longer viable in our rough and troubled world? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to note that those of us doing more than 2 terms have definitely worked with you, Honorable Ababu. But I also give accolades to your mother, Agatha, because the name she gave you, I was trying to read it. I see why you use Ababu Namwamba. Now I'm wondering, is it Pius Tofik, or is it one name or 2 names? Maybe you will tell us what that is. But anyway, to the substantial question. Number 1, UNEP being based in Nairobi, how do you think we can integrate UNEP with our plan as a country so that we feel it more? Because I feel like it is detached, yet it is in this country. Though it's not just serving Kenya, how do you think we can improve and link it up with the better and the bottom-up agenda for our country so that we can feel it more as a people and as a country? Number 2, in your career, and you have been very lucky because you've served both in the legislature and in the executive, and also have been a lawyer and an advocate of the High Court, I would ask specifically on youth and sports docket, where you have served twice in different time that you have been a CS in that ministry. Considering our youth badge, unemployment rate, what would you pick as one of your most held dear achievement in terms of contribution to the young people in this country? I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want also to congratulate the nominee for this position. However, I have one or two questions. In 2003, 2004, you won a Global Justice Award by Jubilee Netherlands for what they call landmark work at Chambers of Justice, including cancelled debts for the child campaign, KADEC. Kenya is still reeling from massive foreign debts that couple huge percentage of its revenue. What exactly did you achieve to deserve that award? And to debt cancellation efforts? And 2, what, in your view, are the steps the country should take in in diplomacy to cut back on its foreign debt portfolio. And what did you, during your 10 years, see cast to actualize such ideas, if any? And then the last one, I want to ask one question, because this position, UNEP, United, I think it is one of the best positions at the moment because of environmental issues. What will you do in order to help our major towns? For example, Nairobi, we have a lot of pollution, we have a lot of garbage all over, and also major towns in Kenya. What will you do to make sure that you engage our governors to make sure that our country achieves the role of hosting this UNEP mission in Nairobi?
Respond, Waziri.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. I will just roll one by one as the questions have come at me from Honorable Hassan, Honorable Wangari, and Honorable Kandie. Honorable Hassan has asked me some very fundamental questions that go to the very heart both of the role I have been nominated for and also the state of multilateralism generally, globally, and the threats posed to multilateralism and the principles and values that underpin multilateralism as a concept and a practice. And let me start with your question number 3, Honorable Hassan, through Chair. You're asking the threats posed to the rule-based global order and whether it can even be sustained, whether we can sustain this rule-based global order as we have known it since the end of the Second World War. My position, Honorable Chair, is that Kenya has taken a very consistent and a very progressive position on matters multilateralism generally and on this matter of a rule-based global order. One, Kenya has been very clear on the inviolability of boundaries, which is also a core value and principle that underpins the United Nations itself, that boundaries are inviolable. Sovereignty is sanctified, and that really is the position our country holds, and a position that I personally, both as an attorney and a practitioner within this field, holds dear, that we must continue to uphold the inviolability of boundaries, of borders, and protect the sanctity of sovereignty. Of course, threats will always confront humanity, and that is why we have measures, including organizations like the UN, to confront those challenges, but we must remain firm that the moment you allow interference with these two principles unabated, inviolability of borders and the sanctity of sovereignty, then you will throw the global order into chaos, total chaos. The reason why the League of Nations collapsed before the world was thrown into the Second World War was because of half-hearted measures to stand up to the values that the world had come together to uphold under the League of Nations. The United Nations, as a successor to the League of Nations, has been very clear in not walking the path that the League of Nations walked. And that means that then those who bear responsibility, and this includes the UN Security Council, where Kenya has served recently, and I'm very proud, Honorable Chair, that while at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I played a very central role in the campaign that led Kenya's election as a member of the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council bears a critical role in upholding these values and these principles. All members through the UN General Assembly and the various agencies must remain faithful to these principles. And if confirmed, if approved for this role, I certainly, Honorable Chair, would make my contribution in supporting the position of our country and supporting the values and principles that...
Na mtazamaji, moja kwa moja kwa hivi sasa